Hello, I'm Andrew Nichols. Larry the greyhound is still on the lam. The dog was traveling on an Air Canada flight Monday when he went missing. And the airline's initial response, which was contained in an internal email that was mistakenly released, has created an uproar. Now Air Canada is also dealing with a public relations blunder as well. Jutta Kulic is Larry's owner, and she joins us now by phone from Sacramento, California. So Jutta, first of all, how did Larry get lost?
One of the airline employees took it upon herself to cut the zip ties. I had the carrier sealed with 4 zip ties so that he could not get loose. And one of the employees decided that he had been in the carrier too long, and she was going to take it upon herself to take him for a walk.
And what's wrong with that thinking, given the fact that the flight was delayed and the employee probably thought, well, you know, dogs need to be walked at some point. They can't just stay in a crate forever and ever.
Well, what the problem with that thinking is that the dog's safety was compromised, and this is the same kind of thinking that has had pets lost for as many years as airlines have been flying them. You would think that they might learn from the first time, and yet something like this happens over and over again, which is why I gave such clear and specific instructions and why that crate was sealed closed.
And what were your instructions?
Right.
What were your instructions? What were your
instructions? My instructions were to never open that crate at all to Air Canada. And then when they told me that the dog's flight had been delayed and that he would not make the connection to his flight from Vancouver to Victoria, that they were going to hire a professional kenneling service to come take him for the night, I again instructed them that the dog was never to be removed from the carrier unless he was in a completely enclosed area. And they told me they were very clear on that.
All right, so that's not what happened. So what explanation did Air Canada give you?
They said that they had a very kind-hearted employee who took it upon herself to take the dog for a walk because she believed that the dog had been in the carrier for too long. And he really certainly hadn't, not by any standards had that dog been in that carrier for too long, and he did not need to come out of there. He had approved food and water dishes on the front of the carrier that could have been filled from the outside. Nobody had to open the door to get to them. And he also had absorbent bedding inside the carrier. Animals are shipped far greater distances and over a much longer period of time safely inside their carrier. It is a lot easier to give a dog a bath than to find it once it's lost.
All right. And then all of a sudden there was this email that was sent from an Air Canada spokesperson, Peter Fitzpatrick. Yep. And he wrote in the email, it was clearly not destined to go, it wasn't supposed to go to a reporter. It was supposed to go to someone else at Air Canada, it would seem.
You bet.
And this is what it says. I think I would just ignore. It is a local news story doing a story on a lost dog. Their entire government, the U.S. government, is shut down and about to default, and this is how the U.S. media spends its time. So that was in an email. What did you think about that?
The first thing I thought was, oh my God, how horrible and cold and callous. And I was also very unhappy with his attitude towards our government. I really was offended by the man's discussion on our debt crisis and what he was talking about with the U.S. government. I really didn't think that was any of his business.
Now, today, CBC News, we got a statement from Fitzpatrick at Air Canada acknowledging that the comments were inappropriate, but he also says that these comments don't refer to the search for Larry by Air Canada employees, that Air Canada employees are still, looking to find Larry and to return him safely. So do you think that they're doing that? Do you have faith that Air Canada is going to find the dog?
I think that Air Canada has done some things. I'm aware that they posted posters, and I am also aware that some of their staff has been calling the local shelters, humane societies, and vets offices. On Tuesday morning, I sent them a huge amount of information with resources on recovering lost pets, One of the things I asked for was tracking dogs. On Tuesday afternoon, they called me and said that they were still waiting to hear back from the trackers. But from that time, or they didn't call me, they emailed me. After that email on Tuesday afternoon, I did not hear one word from Air Canada until this morning at 11:22, when the manager I originally talked to called and said there was no new information. In the meantime, I have been able to track that dog via social media and other individuals who work at the airport. I have pretty much been able to track everything that has happened to that dog, and we do believe he was hit by a car on the 101 northbound entrance ramp to the San Bruno Freeway at San Francisco International Airport, and we believe that happened within a half an hour of him being lost. What we have not been able to confirm is whether or not he was killed. I was told that several cars pulled over to the side and that there was a woman that was, and individuals got out of the cars, and that there was a woman bending over touching him. No one has recovered the dead dog's body. Not Caltran, not anyone, none of the local places that recover, that pick up the dead animals on the road. None of those people recovered that dog there. So we don't know where he's gone. He may or may not be dead, but we do believe he was hit.
So you must be worried.
Well, I'm very worried. I'm very upset. I'm exhausted. I'm completely exhausted because this search has not stopped on my part since I've been here. And but I can tell you that I would rather know that the dog, I can't say that I would rather know that he was killed, but I would rather know that that dog is not running scared, freezing, hungry, and terrified for 5 days.
Jutta, we certainly wish you the best of luck in the search. We appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you so very much for your help.
That's Jutta Kulic. Her dog was lost by Air Canada.